What's up? I'm E and welcome to my channel, E Smells Good. If this is your first time viewing, I would like to say thank you for tuning in. And if this is not your first time, then what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on everything that I post from here going forward. If you're anything like me, you are tired of the cold weather. I'm tired of the snow. I'm tired of having to defrost my car in the morning. I'm ready for the temperature to warm up. That being said, I am ready for spring. And that is why in today's video, we're going to be talking about my top 10 fragrances for spring. And we're going to kick our list off with a very strong contender from the house of Parfums de Marly, and that is going to be Layton. The main notes that I'm getting from Layton, in the top, you're going to find some apple and lavender that gives it a bit of an aromatic touch. You also get some florals in the mid, and then in the base, you get some vanilla, cardamom, black pepper, and some woods as well. That overall makes this a bit of a fruity yet woody and creamy scent at the same time. This one can be worn for a variety of occasions. You can wear this one dressed up, you can wear it dressed down. The freshness that you get from those fruity notes and the lavender up top that also play really well with the creaminess and depth of the woods and vanillic notes in the base allow those one to really be worn perfectly in a transitional season such as the springtime. And of the ones on this list, if you did want something that could just be a signature scent for the season of spring, this would be a strong contender. Once again, from the house of Parfums de Marly, we have Layton. Now next up on the list, we have a powdery iris scent from the house of Prada, and that is going to be Prada L'Homme. Prada L'Homme is a very clean, soapy smelling iris scent, and I think that it is perfect for the springtime. As far as floral fragrances for men goes, this is one that can easily be pulled off by any man. This is one that I tend to reach for more so when I'm dressed up a little bit. Think of maybe a white button-up, some slacks, and a hard bottom. That's the type of attire that I typically would wear with this fragrance. So if you're looking for a men's fragrance for the springtime that's still going to be clean and soapy yet elegant at the same time, check out Prada L'Homme. Now next up, we have a cheapie from the house of Afnan, and that is going to be Supremacy Collector's Edition. In this one, you're getting that Creed Aventus / Creed Aventus Absolute DNA. In this one though, it is a bit of a twist. I get a very, very sweet, juicy, fruity pineapple accord up top, as well as a lot of creaminess in the base. Similar to what I said about Layton earlier, the freshness from the fruits and the creamy, woody nature in the base of this one makes it perfect for transitional seasons. This is another fragrance that I feel is a bit of a Swiss Army knife. You can wear this one dressed up, you can wear it dressed down. I've worn it to work, I've worn it to the gym. There's really no occasion that I can think of that this fragrance could not be worn for. So if you're a fan of that Creed Aventus DNA and you like the idea of having a more fruit-forward batch, emphasis on the juicy pineapple note, and a bit of creamy, woody notes in the base, this is a wonderful one to check out for the springtime. Once again, that is Afnan Supremacy Collector's Edition. Coming up next is going to be from the house of YSL, and that is YSL's Myself. Now this one has become a bit of a Swiss Army knife for me year round, but I think it shines especially in the springtime. It's a bit of a basic fragrance. You're really just getting some bergamot up top, some orange blossom in the mid, as well as ambroxan and patchouli in the base. But it all comes together, in my opinion, to make an extremely beautiful scent. There's a bit of that fresh laundry / body gel type of a scent to this one, yet it, in my opinion, has a bit of a uniqueness to it, and I think that comes from that orange blossom note. It definitely falls right in line with a lot of the other fragrances that YSL has to offer, especially within their Y line. However, this one certainly is my favorite. This is one that, in my opinion, has a bit of a playfulness to it, so I typically reach for it in more casual settings. I don't think I would wear this dressed up. I'm not wearing this with a tie or a suit, but for all other occasions, it is perfect. Something that you will see as a common theme in this list is that for the springtime, I typically lean towards scents that have freshness, but also have some depth and complexity in the base. Although this one is not very complex, it does have a bit of a freshness that's juxtaposed with almost a sweet creaminess in the base. And in my opinion, that makes it perfect for the spring. Now this is the Eau de Parfum. I do think that either the Eau de Parfum or the Le Parfum would do perfectly well in the springtime. So either one that you can get your hands on, whichever that you prefer, that's the one that I would say go ahead and grab. So once again, from the house of YSL, we have Myself. Next up on the list is a bit of a springtime no-brainer, and it is going to be from the house of Mancera, and that is Cedret Boisé. Now this one is very citric and fruity up top, but it also has a lot of woody and even a slightly leathery nuance in the base. Of the scents mentioned so far, this is going to be one of the more complex scents, but that does not mean that it's not still going to be extremely mass appealing, and that is why it's been so popular in the fragrance community for so many years. For those of you wondering, this is a twist cap bottle instead of the magnetic. I have heard conversation that the new reformulation with the magnetic cap is not as strong. I do not have experience with those bottles, so definitely test that out. Find out for yourself if the performance is what you need it to be. But for me, in the bottle that I own, I have amazing performance. This is one that I typically do not need to go heavy on the sprays, even though it is a fresher scent. Just a few, maybe 3 to 4, at most 5 sprays is enough to get me strong projection and sillage throughout the entire day. This one does get a lot of comparison to Creed Aventus. I don't think that it is in any way a clone or a dupe of Creed Aventus, but it is in the same family or genre of scents. Yet another scent that I could easily wear either just with a white t-shirt and some jeans, or I could wear with a button-up and a tie. This is one that I will most likely reach for a little more on those warmer spring days. I'm not sure about where you live, but where I live, we get very extreme springs. Some days will feel freezing cold like we're still in winter. Some days will be extremely hot as if it's already summer. And for those warmer spring days, this is one that I will reach for heavily. As you can see, this one has quite a bit of a dent in it. That's because it gets a lot of play in my rotation. It's such a versatile scent. Perfect for warm weather, perfect for any occasion that I can think of. If you're looking for a very masculine scent that has some fruity elements as well as some woods and a slightly leathery nuance, this is a perfect one to check out. Once again, from the house of Mancera, we have Cedret Boisé. Bringing it back to the designers, we have one from Giorgio Armani, and that is Acqua di Gio Profumo. Now, unfortunately, this one has been discontinued / reformulated. If you're looking to get this one and don't want to pay those marked up resale prices, go ahead and check out Acqua di Gio Parfum. This one is going to be a bit of an aromatic aquatic scent. You get some sea notes, some bergamot, some rosemary and sage, giving it that aromatic nature. And what truly makes this one what it is going to be the incense and patchouli in the base. This adds a bit of depth and darkness to the overall brightness of an Acqua di Gio fragrance. And in my opinion, this is the best Acqua di Gio that has ever been made. Once again, it falls perfectly in line with what I find to be a perfect spring scent. I get some freshness, but I also get some depth. This is one that I don't really reach for heavily in casual settings. I find that I prefer to reach for this one, not necessarily when I'm dressed to the nines, but I do like to have I guess you could say a planned outfit on, if that makes any sense. I'm not putting this one on if I just threw on some sweatpants to go to the grocery store. Of the scents mentioned on this list, this one, as well as Prada L'Homme and one that is yet to be mentioned, are some of the best suited springtime scents for a professional environment. So if you like the idea of a very masculine and classy approach to a aquatic scent, check out Acqua di Gio Profumo. Next on the list is one that I do not have a full bottle of, but I have been working through this 10 milliliter decant, and it is Replica's When the Rain Stops. Now this one, in my opinion, screams springtime. I mean, I really cannot help but think of spring when I smell this one. It's a woody, green, earthy smelling fragrance that has a bit of an aquatic nuance to it as well. It really does smell like when the rain stops. Think of almost walking through a garden that has some flowers and there's a bit of an earthy, soil-like smell. This is one that I really struggle to describe. It really does evoke the feeling of stepping outside into a garden after it has freshly rained. But don't think of that stinky post-rain smell that you get from living in a city. Think of more of like a countryside, being in someone's yard who always has freshly planted flowers and maybe an orange tree or something like that. Now, every fragrance on this list I think is perfectly suited for springtime, but this is the one on the list that I would say smells like springtime. Once again, this one is When the Rain Stops from Maison Margiela's replica line. Next on the list is going to be from Versace, and it is Versace's Eros. Now in this one, you're getting mint, apple, some woods, and vanilla. Now this one, when I first got introduced to the fragrance community, it was touted as a party scent, a clubbing scent. But when I got my own bottle and experienced it for myself, I found it to be much more versatile than that. And quite honestly, since then, this is actually my second bottle, it has become a quintessential springtime scent for me. The way the freshness and lightness of the green apple and the mint plays with the depth and complexity of the vanilla, the tonka bean, and the woods just comes across extremely beautiful and very well suited for the springtime. Now, don't get me wrong, this one is a casual wear for me. This is not something that I'm reaching for an upscale event or anything that I would wear with a button up or slacks. This is something that I'm reaching for more so when I'm hanging out with friends, maybe if I'm going out on a date, those types of casual scenarios. There is a playfulness to this one, but it's not the club monster that people touted it to be when I was introduced to it. If you can see, there is a bit of a dent. This is actually my second bottle. I had a 50 milliliter, ran through that one, and now I'm working on this 100 ml. I do think you could go for any of the fragrances in the Eros line for the spring, whether that be Eros EDT, EDP, Parfum, Eros Flame, or even the new release Eros Energy. But for me, my go-to is the original Eau de Toilette. So if you like the idea of a crisp green apple with mint that sits on some woods and is coated with a bit of a creamy nature by tonka bean and vanilla, this is a wonderful one to consider for the springtime. We have Versace Eros. Next up, we have from the house of Lattafa, Vintage Radio. Now, Vintage Radio is a beautiful, juicy plum fragrance that has a bit of a woody creaminess from Palo Santo, and I think there might even be some sandalwood. It's got quite a bit of a freshness up top coming from that plum. You also get a bit of an aromatic nature from some lavender and some sage, but then you get that depth and complexity that I look for in a transitional season scent from that Palo Santo, the oud, and the sandalwood. I find this one to be a very attractive and also a very addictive scent. I got this one towards the end of last year and have been wearing it heavily since then. Now, this one is a clone of Initio's Paragon, so if you wanted to go that route, you could definitely substitute Paragon in for this. The scent of this one smells extremely luxurious. I've worn this one to work, I've worn it to dates, I've worn it to dinners. I could definitely see this one being worn both dressed down as well as dressed up. So if you're looking to add a juicy plum-based scent that also has some complexity from wood such as Palo Santo, oud, and sandalwood, this is a wonderful one to add to your collection. Once again, it is Vintage Radio from Lattafa. And the very last one on the list is going to be from a house that I don't see people talk about too much anymore, and that is Parfums Vintage, and it is going to be Emerald Isles. Now, this is going to be Parfum Vintage's take on the Creed Green Irish Tweed DNA, and in my opinion, they knocked it out of the park. It's very woody and aromatic, and it has that violet leaf and lemon verbena that really is the signature of the Green Irish Tweed DNA. This fragrance does have a lot of classiness to it. It's not one that I typically will wear dressed down. I do typically wear this one at least business casual or up. As far as clones goes, this one is not the cheapest, but I do think that you get what you pay for in terms of the quality of the scent. It's extremely smooth, very well blended, and gets you extremely close to that Green Irish Tweed DNA. I do think that because of the classy and classical nature of this one, it could easily be worn as a signature scent throughout the entire season of spring. Once again, for me, this is a quintessential springtime scent, and it is Emerald Isle from Parfums Vintage. That's going to be it. That's my list. Let me know in the comments below what you plan on wearing for springtime. I myself cannot wait to start pulling out some of my fresher, yet still a bit complex scents. I look forward to seeing what you all have to say down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with a friend who you know who also likes to smell good. And until next time, peace.